Hello, I'm Forge, the not-so-resident maker of things here at Syn Shop in Las Vegas. I've been here for about 3-4 years now. I'm part of the board of directors. I do a lot of stuff with cosplay, laser cutting, 3D printing, and I come all the way out from California to do what I can here.
All right, and the things that you do here, are they things that you've learned somewhere, or were they natural talents for you, or what?
So when I started out here, I first started doing stuff for cosplay and doing different props and doing sewing, and I found this space and I gravitated towards the laser cutter, and I did a lot of hand-done stuff, hand-done painting, sewing. And most of the skills that I've learned have been actually being here and being around people that know more about the things I'm trying to do than I do. And so just having a community like that and being able to work within other people's strengths is what's taught me how to do all the laser cutting, all the 3D printing, CNC woodworking, and kind of even led to the job that I have now and working in 3D printing and all of that.
All right, and so what do you do for your job, if I can ask?
So I currently work for a 3D printing company. I've worked also for a laser cutting company that has some of the machines that we have here. I'm going kind of in between. There's going to be stuff I'm doing in the future, kind of collaborating with all of that stuff, doing different sort of vinyl printing technologies, and as long as I can learn something and do things with my hands, I am all about it.
All right, and so the question I like to ask people is, if a younger person in your life were interested in doing some of the things that you do, what kind of tips, advice can you offer, and where should they start?
So there's a lot of things when I find a lot of people that are very interested by the things that I'm doing, and how do you make all these things? How do you learn to do them? And it's really finding a space that enables you to kind of think freely and be able to create whatever you want. Having something like the Syn Shop here is, I have equipment I'd never be able to have, that I'd never know about. And when people ask me, I say, well, get around the people that do what you want to do. Get around people that can help you, that will assist you. It's getting past that initial fear of, well, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm scared. All right, let me take your hand and let me show you. We'll have classes for soldering, for different workshop tools, metalworking, and these things, they sound scary, but having someone help guide you through it is what's going to ultimately get you to understand it and love it.
All right, and what kind of people belong at a makerspace? Where are the boundaries of?
It's really hard because anyone can be a part of a makerspace. We have, especially on Wednesday night, we have our craft night, and we have a bunch of younger kids. We have multiple generations of people, whole families. It really doesn't matter. Everyone's here because they like creating things, and people do art. People like myself, I do music, and it's kind of just being able to create something out of nothing. And it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone's here for the same reason, because they love it. And yeah, it's a welcoming place. So I think it's a place for everyone.
All right, and one of the things I talk with spaces about at the end of many of the interviews is, what kinds of things are you interested about learning about other spaces as I talk to other spaces?
Mm-hmm. So I've also gone around. I like checking out the different spaces, seeing what they have, and it's really fascinating to see how the culture changes, how different people do. Myself, I'm part of the board of directors here, and so I work a little more with the operations side, and how do you make that experience easier and better and more welcoming for the people outside of the Syn Shop that have no idea what you're doing here. So finding people have incredible projects and different community events. One of the things that I would personally want to know about other hacker spaces is, for Las Vegas, we're a pretty small area. Syn Shop is pretty much the name of the game here. I know other places have many other hacker spaces, and how do you interact with those different spaces and kind of make a worldwide community? Is I want to know, how can we collaborate with your makerspace, hackerspace, with your community, and just start getting involved. So if there's any community projects.
All right, and the two things that I got as more common coming up in response to that question are, how do other spaces interact with their communities? And they want to hear some of those answers. So, like, can you give some examples of how you interact with the community around?
Yeah. So myself, again, I'm not from here full time. I'm mostly in California, but I do get to see a lot of the operations that happen. We have a lot of open nights where we have classes, a lot of educational events, younger kids. We do run. For a few of the years, we've done a mini maker fair. We've gone out and SkillCon, and we've done a bunch of STEM events. So we invite people a lot to come here and look at our space, but we also try to go out and see where can we help, what kind of projects can we do for the community. We've had everything from barbecues to garage sales and different it's a little bit of everything, and we're still kind of playing with the idea. We've just actually moved over to Henderson we used to be downtown Las Vegas in the middle of the strip, and now we're in an area where we have a lot of families kind of looking over, and it's like, well, I don't have a tool shop in my garage, maybe I can come do something here. Oh, I have my son and he wants to do a school project. So we're trying to figure out where we can mesh with those people and the everyday people that don't know that we exist and that we can be something they really want.
And the other question that comes up very often is, how do you avoid burnout?
Burnout is a big problem. With how big Syn Shop is, which I know there's space is bigger, but even so, we have a small team that completely volunteer. No one gets paid here, but they still have to come and they pay their membership, and then they take on the extra work of doing all the admin stuff, answering emails, board meetings every month. So it's kind of hard. You find those people that really love it and want to see the shop continue and thrive. But eventually it does come to a point where someone says, my life has to take a bit of a break. I need to do this. So we're always trying to find easy ways and to make the tasks a bit smaller. We ask a lot of our members here, if you're a member, okay, well, if you have a vetted status and you can come in at 24-hour access, it's okay, would you like to host the night open, maybe one night out of the month? Would you like to do a hack your hackerspace and help us clean up? Different projects like that just make it a lot more manageable, so that our shop can operate and kind of with little involvement. We operate by the rule of don't be a dick. And it's all just kind of, you're here with other people, so just be aware there's other people around, and we try to make it work for everyone.
All right, and the couple more that I kind of like to ask people are, one of the places up north, one of the guys asked, and it's sort of different, but sort of similar to something I've already asked, is why are you a maker? What got you into it?
I feel like I've always been a maker. I've always liked to create stuff out of nothing and do things with my hands. I like the idea of, all right, here's some stuff, and I take it as a challenge of, oh, what can I do with that? We have the Syn Shop sign during tour camp. We had a bunch of extra lights, and we're like, all right, well, what are we going to do with this? Or should we throw it away? And I said, well, what if we make this big marquee sign? We have the laser cutting sign. We have all this laser cutting scrap. Oh, let's make some decoration there. Let's put some signage up. Been making a lot of signs. But I remember even as a kid, my dad would hate me because I'd walk home and I'd find something in the gutter and I'd be like, oh, I want this. I can do something with this. So I personally, whenever I look at something, I figure I can make this better. And that's part of the reason I still do what I do here is I find stuff, I have my little challenge of, oh, I can make this exciting and entertaining. And it just is a theme through my life. I do a lot of stuff with music, violin, guitar, bass. I do a lot of stuff with arts and sewing, and being able to visualize stuff like that, I'm definitely more of a creative. And I think that everyone can really benefit from that. So whenever someone asks, how did you do that? I'm like, all right, here, come. I won't make it for you. I will show you how to do it. So.
Is there any project that you've done that you're particularly proud of?
I feel like every project I do, I'm a little more proud of than the last project. But I still have my favorites. Most recently I did a costume from the video game Overwatch. I did Mercy, and I did these, I took an image of myself and to scale, I made these wings and I vectorized them, I laser cut them, I did all the wiring, and just having something that involved that came out so nice that other people were able to recognize made me feel pretty good. And also I was able to be like, okay, well, this is how I did it. And like, people wanted to know how I did it and how to do it themselves. And I like kind of being able to share that. Everything I learned was from other people or from the internet. So being able to share that kind of information that I got to other people who don't have access to it, makes me pretty happy.
Alrighty. Is there anything else you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're ever in Vegas, Syn Shop's the place to be. Come say hi. We're open to meeting all of you. Thank you guys.
All right.